Right, let's move on to other news now. So the murder of the first openly gay Imam, Mushin Hendricks, has sent shockwaves through both the LGBTQ plus and Muslim communities. Hendricks was shot on Saturday while sitting in his vehicle in Gqeberha. The 58-year-old was a pioneering figure known for his advocacy for gay rights within Islam and his commitment to creating safe spaces for LGBTQ plus Muslims and extending a hand to marginalised groups in society. His death raised concerns, with many believing that the murder was motivated by homophobia. Newzroom Afrika's reporter Nasiphi Same filed this report.
In 1996, Mushin Hendricks made history as the first openly gay imam, a decision that was met with significant resistance. Hendricks advocated for LGBTQ plus Muslims to be accepted, with many describing him as a pioneer and a powerful voice for inclusion and equality. The 1 Billion Rising South Africa organization believes his killing in Gqeberha this past Saturday was an act of homophobia. They highlight that the country's constitution guarantees equality and inclusion for all.
I believe it's an act of homophobia. I think it was orchestrated. I think it was planned. I think somebody knew where the imam was going to be and acted upon it. This is terrorism. We do not live in a world where you walk up to somebody just because you disagree with them and shoot and kill them. And then go onto social media pages and say, this is what we do when somebody doesn't agree with you. A teacher, a scholar, a religious leader was mercilessly killed because of the teaching of love.
In the wake of this tragedy, the provincial leader of the ANC in the legislature, Gqeberha said, has called for greater tolerance for the country's diversity, adding that tolerance and inclusivity must remain at the core of South Africa's identity.
Does this discourse not contribute to these kind of acts of violence? Any religious tradition, any worldview, there's no place for that. You can have differences of opinion, you can have strong views, strong theological understandings, but once it reaches a point of celebrating people's death and murder and actually justifying killing, but at the same time, I think people ought to reflect the kind of vile, homophobic, violent comments that we have seen on social media in response. So people have actually gone and celebrated this act. There's no place for that in our democracy, not at all.
The Muslim Judicial Council has also condemned the brazen act of violence.
The MJC calls upon the South African Police Services to conduct a thorough, impartial investigation into this matter, ensuring that those responsible are held accountable through due process. We also express our concern regarding the persistently high levels of violent crime in our nation and appeal to all stakeholders to work collectively in addressing this pressing issue. The sanctity of life is a fundamental tenet of Islam, and the unlawful taking of life is a grave transgression, both in religious jurisprudence and within the legal framework of the Republic of South Africa.
For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Nasiphi Same in Cape Town.